It seems to be the summer of spooky movies. I don't know why we keep getting these spooky films in the summer when they'd likely perform much better closer to October. But here we are with Cuckoo, a film from Neon. A little intro here. I didn't know Neon was a company until very recently. I knew about Blumhouse and Day24. I've seen a fair share of films from both of those studios. But a few weeks ago, I was at a showing of Longlegs, and a trailer played for this movie that had characters engaging in like all the 7 deadliest sins. Sex, drugs, copious swearing, crime, you name it, this movie trailer had it. That movie is called Anora, and it's not out yet, but I remember sitting there thinking, I have a strange feeling I'm not going to like anything Neon puts out. Funny enough, the lights dim, and the big logo for Neon appears on screen before playing the Longlegs film. It's funny how life, finds a way.
Life, finds a way.
And I say all of that to say, when the Neon logo appeared as the lights dimmed for Cuckoo, I audibly groaned in the theater. Hello, my friends, and welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, I invite you to subscribe to this new channel where we're posting videos nearly every day. I say all of that about Neon in the introduction more so as a joke, of course. To be clear, I go into every film I see with a blank slate. I want every single film I watch to be amazing. On Instagram, people tell me that I rage bait, but that would only be if my rage was fake. No, my rage is very much real. I have no rage to put upon Cuckoo. However, this film left me wanting a lot more from it. Cuckoo is a horror film starring Hunter Schafer and Dan Stevens. When 17-year-old Gretchen leaves America to live with her father and his family at a resort in the German Alps, she becomes plagued by supernatural noises and figures in the night. Dan Stevens plays the wealthy resort owner who seems to have some kind of personal interest in Gretchen and her family, while also having some sort of manipulative leverage on Gretchen's father. I would say that I don't want to reveal any spoilers in this review, but more so, I can't spoil anything because I didn't understand what the hell was going on. That sounds a little dramatic, of course. I am a sucker for highbrow, big think required thriller films. I like to walk away and play the film over and over again in my head to see if I could catch the twists in different ways. I think we all do that in some way. It's why we would rewatch a film. We're looking for something new, the other details we missed the first time around. Cuckoo suffers from not explaining itself very well, and I'm entirely aware that that could be a contrived skill issue on my behalf. You may see this film and understand it immediately, and that's fine, great. But for me, even after paying my admission and watching the film from start to finish, I will now need to wait to see a Foundflix video to properly get all the plot details that I missed. So this movie doesn't make sense on its own. I need to go watch a YouTube video of someone explaining it. And that's not to say that the movie lives up to that high caliber thought, right? No, I mean, I don't understand the character motivations at all. I don't understand why the family is there, why Dan Stevens' character is doing, funding, participating in anything he's doing in this movie. I don't understand why that supernatural entity is there, or where it came from, or how it could possibly survive. It's the kind of movie where if you take it at surface level and start asking questions, the plot immediately falls apart. Well, wizard, when you don't understand something, you often say it's bad. Why aren't you saying Cuckoo is bad? Because I feel like there are answers there that I just didn't get. So I'm not gonna say that the movie is bad when it might be able to be explained by someone else because I personally did not get it. I have a hope that everyone else watching this film will get it, and maybe it was just me. And I also don't think the movie is bad. The acting from Hunter Schafer was very well performed, with one scene in particular, the one that required sign language, that I thought was especially moving. I've seen people say that Dan Stevens is overplaying his character, but frankly, I love Dan Stevens in thrillers and horrors. He's the reason I wanted to see this movie in the first place. I saw the trailer, didn't understand what it was, but saw Dan Stevens was in it, and immediately decided that I would be seeing it in theaters. I didn't have a problem with his acting. I didn't have a problem with any of the performances. I wish the writing held up a bit better, though. There's a movie I saw on HBO Max back in 2022 called Night House. It stars Rebecca Hall as a grieving wife after the spontaneous self-deletion of her husband. The movie follows down a very supernatural rabbit hole where she discovers secrets her husband had and even more mysterious forces in play. I am not going to spoil this movie. This movie is fantastic. I loved this film. I want so much more of this film, but not a sequel, you know? Well, why? And what does this have to do with Cuckoo? Nighthouse takes us through the film with Rebecca Hall's Beth as she slowly discovers the truth about her husband. Every scene serves this development, starting slowly with simple hints about what's going on, then slow still with more, then faster and faster and faster and faster until all the pieces come together and we finally understand the truth about what's going on. Once the plot picks up, there is no slowing it down. And better still, this movie ends on one of those highbrow, this is what my movie meant, in the final scene, and it sticks the landing so well that you walk away thinking, it was really good. I have to draw comparisons of Cuckoo to Nighthouse because it tries to do something similar with how it slowly builds. Most thrillers do this, so it's not just these two films. Obviously, this is how most thrillers and horrors are. The comparison I'm making is that one film nailed it, and the other really didn't. Cuckoo is very, very slow at the beginning all the way through Act 2, and doesn't launch the spaceship until Act 3, where the climactic revelations just don't make sense. Hunter Schafer's Gretchen seemingly gets herself into situations that aren't totally believable. In the trailer and the poster, you see she has a bandage on her head. Her body takes an absolute beating, suffering much more than just a head injury. And even after her face and body are all bruised up, she still keeps getting walloped. I kind of just don't buy it. Then also, of course, the script convenient injuries that others suffer and seem to walk off for plot to continue. I mean, we see someone get shot and then be hunky-dory moments later, and another person gets stabbed in a way that should be a death blow, but leaves them totally able to turn into a special forces operative for all of Act 3. These feel like nitpicks, and they are, but when you have a horror thriller like this that wants you to be undeniably invested and bought in, it's hard to take it seriously when injuries that would kill are just shrugged off. And that plays into something I mentioned earlier with motivations, because in this case, the motivations go hand in hand with the injuries. If you suffer a car crash that leaves you with a broken arm, serious bruising, I don't see you immediately being willing to run around with a guy you just met on a hunch of discovering the answers to secrets that lie here in the German Alps, when all you've been saying for the first 40 minutes of the film is how you want to go home. If I am in a car accident, I'm staying in bed until I'm healed up. Feel like that's what you would do too, right? So for a character to go from not caring to suffering an accident to immediately buying into action feels like it could have used a line or two more of dialogue to really express the motivations. The movie actually makes these hard cuts where there's supposed to be a passage of time and location, but like, I don't know why we're here now or what we're doing or why Gretchen is here. Like, why is Dan Stevens here talking to a girl with the parents sitting on the couch just watching? What's going on here? And that happens quite a bit. Stevens' character just pops up after the hard scene cuts that just don't make sense for his character to be there. This might be considered spoilers here, so fair warning. Every single thing to do with this movie's supernatural entity makes absolutely zero sense to me. How it operates, why it operates, what it wants, how it came to be. Nothing is answered for this entity or why it's actually a threat, as its existence is amazingly fragile the more you think about it. And because of that, the movie falls apart the more you poke holes into it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to a Found Flicks video or someone else giving a proper explanation of the events. Cuckoo allegedly has a budget of $7 million. And if that's true, that's amazing, and I fully endorse it. This movie has flaws, but it's not bad. And if it was done for only $7 million and crossed that threshold of actually being good, then that's fantastic. When you've got movies nowadays with hundreds of millions of dollars in budget and awful story and bad execution, it makes me say, this is what we need more of. experimental stories that make you think on low budgets. Cuckoo is not a great movie, but it's certainly not a bad movie. I would wait to catch it on streaming this Halloween season. My friends, thank you for joining me for this Pondering special. If you would please subscribe to this channel if you like this video. Hit the like button. If you didn't like anything I had to say, well, why? And until next time, create, innovate, inspire. May the contrived thread of destiny be with you. And for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus. It's going to $17 a month. It ain't worth it. Cuckoo. Cuckoo.